Natasha here from Big Rock Organics, and welcome to week 13 of the CSA. We are introducing some new things this week, and we're looking forward to cooler weather and some greens starting. Hopefully we'll have some lettuce next week, so we are very excited. As a little sneak peek preview, you do have a couple greens this week. We have a couple of lettuces for you to enjoy. And then we also have in that baggie some kale. Now we've got a couple of different kinds of kale here, that purple kale, red Russian kale. There's a little bit of the curly kale in there as well, and whatnot. So a little sneak peek preview of some greens. So go ahead and make a little mini salad, enjoy those, put them on your sandwich or whatnot. But we do have the lettuce that is going to be coming hopefully in the next couple of weeks here. That is beautiful loose leaf lettuce. So very much looking forward to having our salads back again. So we've got this here for us. We've got lunchbox peppers. So these little guys are not hot. They're sweet and delicious, and you can snack on them. They're one of my favorite things that we grow. And this year, seeds were really hard to come by, so I actually had to buy from a couple different people to make sure that I had some of these guys, and they are just one of my favorite peppers. They take a little while to ripen, so they've been on the plants forever, and they just finally started ripening, but I just love these. And they don't have very many seeds, so you can literally just snack on them, put them in your lunchbox. I'm sure that's why they call them lunchbox peppers, so very excited. Now the peppers are turning all kinds of beautiful colors, so we do have some yellow ones. The purple ones are really pretty this time of the year, just turning all those gorgeous colors. This is the purple pepper as it's turning, you know, just beautiful, beautiful colors. So some nice sweet bell peppers coming your way. You might get red, you might get purple, you might get green, yellow. I just love the rainbow of colors. It's so exciting to see the beautiful colors coming out of the garden. We've got green beans, of course. Always loving those green beans. I will say they are slowing down a little bit. Our pickers are very happy about that. And the last planting of beans that we have is the dragon's tongue beans. So for those of you who remember, those are the cool ones with the purple streaks. So these guys will be with us a little while longer, and then at the very tail end we'll be welcoming those dragon tongue beans. Hopefully they grow and yield for us before the end of the CSA season. So hopefully enjoying lots of green beans. Remember, if you ever get overwhelmed with green beans, you just take and blanch them, which simply means to steam or boil them for a couple minutes so they're like halfway cooked, and then you put them in ice cold water for a couple minutes and then dry them. Put them on a freezer tray and they will freeze really nicely. When I cook them, then later on, they're good to like throw in a soup or something like that, but they're also really great if you just take them out of the freezer and saute them right away. Do not put them in any water or anything like that. And they're not quite a fresh green, but they're still pretty good. So enjoy the beans, always a fun staple to have. Can't go wrong with beans. We've got all those different tomatoes. Now, I've never given like an official list of all the different kinds of tomatoes that we're growing. These are Blue Beauty with the blue shoulders on there, and they ripen to a nice pink. The dark ones are Cherokee Purple, and this one needs a couple of days, but it turns like a nice, you know, kind of really dark, you know, kind of purpley burgundy color, and has a nice velvety flavor. They all have a little different flavor to them. I love this little stripy one. Isn't that beautiful? The name is escaping me right now. So the tomatoes are really just luscious in color and flavor and texture. These big guys here are the Brandywine or German Pink. I tried two different big ones this year, and to be honest, I can't remember which one's which. So, oh well. So that one looks like it's destined for a BLT this week. So we've got lots of tomato flavors. So not only the big tomatoes, but also the little tomatoes. I don't think I'm gonna try to juggle here, but those are looking good. Now the little tomatoes, we've got a lot of different varieties in there as well. Look at that, so gorgeous. Those little yellow pear. We've got, this one has such a fun name. This is called Brad's Atomic Grape. We've got, my favorites probably are gonna be the little bumblebees. So we've got the purple bumblebees, and we've got the pink bumblebees, these guys here. And then we've got the yellow bumblebees. So all the bumblebees are kind of one of my favorite tomatoes. These guys are so good, the green zebra. What else do we have? The little white ones, let's see there. That's Barry's Crazy Cherry. You just gotta love some of these names. Yeah, a nice variety of different colors and textures in there. I just made a salad the other night that has my favorite dressing base, and that is sesame oil, rice wine vinegar, and a little bit of sugar. You can put a little bit of cayenne pepper in there if you want a little bit of kick, but I shake that up and then I just make all my salads with that. It's a nice vinaigrette. It's got a little acidity but a little bit of sweetness, and so I did tomatoes and some onion and some peppers and some avocado, and the avocado broke down a little bit to create like a creamier sauce, which was really good. And oh my gosh, I could eat that bowl after bowl after bowl. So that is just such a good one to remember, just to always mix up a little vinaigrette like that, and then just chop up all your veggies. Oh, I even threw some cucumber in there. Just a nice fresh cold salad. So good. And then of course your most delicious, I've made a batch of salsa this week. So many good things to make with those tomatoes. So I hope that you're enjoying them. I will tell you my favorite trick in the world for tomatoes is to take our whole tomatoes, any size that you want, and you just rinse them off, take the stems off, dry them, and then put them in a bag in the freezer. Just a freezer bag. It's so easy. And what happens is they'll freeze whole, and then when you want to use them this winter, like say making chili or something like that that uses a nice tomato, and then you're going to take them out of the freezer, run them under hot water. The hot water, the skins will slip right off of there. They're so easy to use. It's my favorite way. I used to can a lot of tomatoes and I don't anymore. This is how I do my tomatoes. So it's minimal processing and it's so much more flavorful, and the tomatoes don't break down as much. So once you slip the skins off under the hot water, then you might want to just leave them out to thaw for a few more minutes, and when you can cut them, you'll just core them and cut them and add them to your recipe. And they taste really fresh, and I just find the flavor is great. And also like the consistency of the tomato is better than a canned tomato because it's not cooked all that time. So you can take any of your tomatoes, just throw them in, a couple at a time, just add them to the bag. You don't even have to do a whole freezing bunch at a time. Just if you think you're not going to get to that tomato, stick it in there. And it is such a great way to enjoy the bounty of the tomatoes out of season because they don't last forever. I imagine we'll have another maybe week or two of tomato intensity where we're getting lots of tomatoes, but then like all good things, they dribble off a little bit. So anyways, make sure you're preserving some tomatoes for the future because you will be very happy to make that first batch of chili come October and have those fresh tomatoes in the freezer for that. All right, we've got, of course, that zucchini. I finally made a batch of zucchini bread, which is delicious. And you can make the zucchini bread and then you can freeze it. I love making zucchini cupcakes or muffins, and then you put them in the freezer, and they're so easy to take out and thaw for a busy weekday snack, breakfast snack. So that's a great thing, but you can always grate this and throw it into just about anything, any sort of sauce, soup, tomato sauce, anything that you want is so good. And of course, chocolate zucchini cake I've been talking about. If you haven't made that by now, I hope you have. I had a customer bring me some this week and I was like, oh, this is so good. I forgot how moist and delicious it is. So that is just so good, and to me is almost a crime to use such a great vegetable to create such a decadent dessert. So I hope you've tried it. But lots of squashes, as always. They're doing great. We've got some of those fun patty pans. I hope you've been grilling those up. They're so cute. I love those. Grilling them whole is just delicious. And then potatoes, we're gonna just keep those potatoes coming. They worked really, really hard last week on Wednesday. Everybody went down to the potato plot and dug 2 more rows of potatoes. So we actually have about 10 trays of potatoes right now here in the packing room, and we'll be definitely making sure you get lots of good potatoes coming. Now, I like to just scrub them and use them skin on and all. We have been making fries lately, which has been just delicious. But of course, so many different things to do with the potatoes: mashed, boiled, steamed. I think I'm gonna start sounding a little bit like Forrest Gump here. But you name it, enjoy those potatoes. And even a breakfast skillet with the peppers and onions and potatoes is just such a treat. And when you've had homegrown potatoes this good, you just are really amazed how delicious a potato can be, a simple potato. Now, I will say we do have sweet potatoes that will be coming later on in a couple weeks. We wait as long as we can. The sweet potato vines are crazy. They are literally like an 8-foot span of just this vining mass. So lots of sweet potatoes coming, I'm hoping. They look really good above ground. We haven't checked yet underneath, but very excited to have sweet potatoes coming in the future weeks too. So regular potatoes and sweet potatoes to come. All right, what else do we have in here? Oh, we've got some beets, of course. And remember to use those greens as well as the bottoms. So tops and bottoms. Whoops, we're missing a beet. There we go, that guy fell off. So go ahead and try those out. We do have a recipe I'll put in for really good pickled beets that Allison, one of our helpers, recommended, and they looked really pretty in the jar with all the different colors stacked, and they were done as a raw pickled beet. So I'm gonna find that recipe and include that for you. So yeah, and then remember, those greens can be sauteed like a chard or a kale or something like that and used as well. And last but not least, 2 more things. These guys are kind of visiting us again. We have some thyme and some sage. We actually have 2 different kinds of sage here, and so these little bundles dry very well if you're not going to get to it right away. I kind of like these flavors for, you know, seasoning chicken and things like that. So you can just take and dry these, and I just hang it up in my kitchen and they dry pretty nicely. Both of these dry very easily. It's so fragrant. I love these guys with any of your roasted, you know, roasted meats or roasted root vegetables. So if you do like a chicken bake, you can put the herbs inside the chicken, and then you can also sprinkle some on your potatoes and carrots and things like that. So flavorful. And last but not least, we have a little bit of pink celery, and I just think this is just the cutest little bubblegum thing that you can find. Look at that fun color. This is a Chinese celery. Yes, it's a little bit small, but I wanted to go ahead and give you guys something fun and different. And you can literally chop the whole thing up, leaves and all, as a nice flavor if you're going to do a soup, or you can take and add it to like potato salad and different things like that. So kind of fun. The leaves, of course, are edible as well if you so choose to use them. You can also dry them, and they will add flavor to soups and stocks and things like that too later on. You can also take the leaves and other just kitchen scraps and put them in the freezer. I've seen this trend a lot where people will just stick it in a bag in the freezer, and then when they're making stock, like say they've got a leftover chicken from doing a chicken bake, then you can take and put all your leftover food scraps that you've been saving in the freezer in with the chicken in the water as you cook your bone stock or your chicken stock, and it'll add a nice flavor. So if you don't think you're going to use some of those leaves, just stick it in the freezer, and then you can go ahead and use it to flavor later on. It's always a good idea to, you know, start thinking of ways that we can put some of this away so that you can enjoy it on a rainy day. So thanks guys for joining me, and also enjoy the bounty of flowers that we've been sending your way these last couple of weeks. The flower garden is looking beautiful, and I hope that you've been enjoying those. The flowers are quite the time-consuming labor of love, but they are so beautiful, so I hope you've been enjoying. This week we're featuring bouquets of double snapdragons. Double snap! I just love that. They're a variety called Madame Butterfly, and they're fluffy, like double snapdragons. They are also featuring zinnias, which are so happy and colorful, and then some sunflowers and all kinds of fun stuff. So enjoy the bouquets, and I hope they brighten your day, and I hope the veggies taste wonderful and inspire your cooking this week, and we'll be back next week with lots of goodies. Thanks for joining me.